Hi, welcome to learnhowtogarden.com. In today's film I want to dispel one of the myths in gardening, and that is the Three Sisters method for growing sweet corn if you try to use it in the UK. If you're not subscribed to me at learnhowtogarden.com, click on the link above me, input your email address. You'll get free monthly newsletters which we send out once a month. You get to see what the gardening club is all about and what our specialist courses are that we run at Learn How to Garden. You get access to much longer, more in-depth films than we put up on YouTube. Now the reason it doesn't work in the UK is quite simple. Sweet corn has to go in later, therefore it's not as strong and very robust. We plant our climbing beans normally once they've already started, so they overwhelm the sweet corn, and our pumpkins or our squash here grow better, therefore they also tend to overwhelm it. Now in the past what I've done is experiment where I've grown sweet corn using trefoil, green manure, and that works brilliantly well. But for the past couple of seasons I've taken a variation on the Three Sisters theme and I've made that work really well. So what we do is we take out of the equation the squash so that we're down to 2 plants. So we're now basically interplanting. And what we're going to do is take our sweet corn and then instead of using a tall pole bean, we're going to use a dwarf French bean instead. So in between the sweet corn plants, we're going to put dwarf French beans, which will grow 3 feet high. They'll use the sweet corn for some support, but they won't twine around it, but they still take nitrogen from the atmosphere, fix it in the ground, which allows the sweet corn to grow better. Now you're not too late to do this. I've deliberately gone out and bought some sweet corn so that, you know, we're in July, you can still buy sweet corn. I have some dwarf French bean plants here, but also in July you still have time to sow dwarf French beans from seed. So we'll be using both methods here. So the first thing we want to do is take these sweet corn out of the container they came in. So we're going to take our sweet corn, which we bought in, and we're going to plant it in a square. I would not try and split these sweet corn. They're in 2s, and you're going to get roughly the same crop from those 2 than if you tried to split it, because the damage you'll get to the roots at this point is far worse than letting them grow together. So we plant those in a square. Remember, it's vitally important that your sweet corn is planted in a square. Sweet corn is pollinated when the tassels release pollen, but it's very heavy pollen. It doesn't travel far on the wind at all. If you plant sweet corn in a line, you'll get very, very bad germination, and you'll get or pollination I should say, shouldn't I? I'm sorry. You'll get very bad pollination. They need to be in a square. So that's our sweet corn planted in a minimum of 9 square. And we're now going to plant 4 dwarf French beans in between them. As I've said, you can either take small plants that you already have, or you can buy in, or you can actually plant seeds at this time of year, and I put 2 seeds into each station. If it was me, I'd use Coco Bianco from Seeds of Italy. Fantastic dwarf French bean, grows quickly, brilliant cropper. That's what we have here in these root trainers, and it's a matter of taking them out, planting them between our sweet corn. What you could do as a belt and braces approach is in fact plant these 4 and then put a seed next to it as well, so that you'll extend the season even more. You're going to have to feed this. I would give it a good dressing of fish blood and bone or chicken manure once you've planted, and a really good watering in. So what I'm saying to you is, you will read in the books that the Three Sisters method works, and for Plains Indians in America it worked brilliantly. But in the UK, we are dealing with different things. We're dealing with sweet corn, not maize, so we're changing the methodology. We're using a similar logic, but we're changing the methodology. If you wanted, you could put a small rambling squash perhaps to ramble through. But I think for most of us, that's trying to get too much out of this space. Better to stick to sweet corn, dwarf French beans, interplanting to get the best return from this space in this no-dig raised bed.